Okay with Corey Fox. Learning the Cuss is the short film, played at the under 5 minute festival. Really great film. I can see it's already doing well in the festival circuit. Not surprised at all. Basically, two boys learn the cuss. I think that I went through this as a kid. Did you go through this as a kid as well?
I have a twin brother, so yes, we did go through this.
Is that where the idea came from? You and your twin brother learning how to swear?
Kind of, but it mostly became because it was, right as the pandemic was ending. And I saw this little thing on Facebook that was similar. So I kind of took the idea, scripted it, and both the kids in that are my sons and they're actors. And just really threw it together in like a couple of weeks. Was able to find some people through I think it was through Facebook that we Facebook marketplace back then. And
Yeah.
yeah, and we everyone together probably took 2 weeks. We got it put together, filmed it at our house, and it was a really fun time.
Oh, so Tyler and Austin are your sons.
Yes.
Gotcha. They had acting experience before?
Yeah, actually, Austin is on in a Netflix film called Eli. You can still see it there. He filmed that back in 2000, I think it's 2019. Right after that, he's also kind of well known for a short film called Mom that's won over 24 awards, including two Tellys that he wrote and directed back when he was 12 years old.
Oh wow, good
Yeah.
for him.
Hmm.
And so I guess it was easy to cast the two boys because that's child actors are hard to cast. And what about the
Yeah.
mom, Gretchen?
She was actually in a little short film with Tyler that was a student film for SCAG. It's a college out here
Yeah.
in Georgia, and she played his mom in that little student film. And we uh, we called her up and asked her, "Hey, would you be interested in doing this little short at our house and stuff like that?" And she said, "Oh yeah." So that's how we were able to cast her.
So you just mentioned that you're in Georgia. Are you in like a landed area?
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually in Winder.
Okay. And how long you been there for?
We actually at the end of 2019, December of 2019, we moved out here to Georgia
Where from?
from Texas. I was born and raised, lived all over that state.
That's what yeah, I thought you had a little Texas twang too. That
Oh
makes
yeah.
sense. So like I'm getting so many films from Georgia in the last like 2 years. Never before that, and now I'm like it's like bombarded with films from Georgia. Why is
Oh,
that?
it's booming out here. We've got there's so many they're getting ready to shoot Scooby Doo out here. There's so many projects. We've got probably there's more studios that I've seen here in Georgia than when I was producing in California back in the early 2000s. And they're building more. And they're building a 40, I think it's a 46 studio uh just east of Atlanta. It's like out in the middle of nowhere. It's cool, but yeah, it's just everyone's moving here. Georgia has really good incentives when it comes to filming, tax breaks, stuff like that. There's Canada used to be called the second Hollywood, and now it's kind of converting to Georgia as becoming the second Hollywood.
I'm seeing that some good crews. I'm seeing like because I'm actually was in the boom of the Toronto boom in the early 2000s. I worked in the film industry, and there was just crews like there was productions everywhere. It was just hard to find people, and not the same, but still strong because there's strong crews. But that's what I'm learning in Atlanta. They're building up these production houses, these studio houses, tax breaks, and then good crews, right? Good,
And the
good.
cost of living out here is, it's very affordable. I'm actually able to buy me a house and, uh, make a good living and stuff out here, along with doing independent filmmaking.
What do you do besides independent filmmaking?
I actually do appraisals for insurance companies, damage appraisals on vehicles.
Oh, okay. So you're like, so then you're the bad guy then.
Yes, yes, and play that role very well. I even dress it.
How does it feel to be the bad guy?
As long as the paycheck comes in.
Oh, okay.
Someone's got to be a bad guy. I'm not that bad. I at least know how to coat it with a spoonful of sugar. That's for sure.
So you what do you mean like by appraisal when there's like a car accident or something or
Yeah, when they have an accident, I'll go out and look at either the insured vehicle, the claimant vehicle, or both, and I assess what it's going to cost to repair the vehicle,
yeah,
whether it's going to be a total loss, something like
wrong.
that.
Yeah. And then you give the value of the car when it's a write off.
I'm a salary employee with an insurance company, so I just get
Gotcha.
a nice salary.
No, no, I'm
And
just curious because I just remember when I got in a car accident and my car got totaled, and
oh
within
yeah.
within the 48 hours they had everything. They had the check
Hmm.
within the was already in the bank and it was like already all figured out.
Oh
And just
yeah.
they just washed their hands and they said, "See you later, goodbye."
Have fun. Good luck replacing it.
Yeah, and then, yeah, make sure you do replace it because we're gonna make some more money from you and our insurance company. They did. It was so quick. It was
Hmm.
unbelievable.
Oh yeah, there's total losses are probably faster turnarounds than if you take it to a shop to get repaired.
Sure. And how much? And why don't you should make a movie about that?
I probably will one of these days. I'm kind of working on a 2 act play about the fast working at a fast food restaurant right now, but
Okay.
and that's kind of a hold because right now I'm getting ready. I'm May the 26th. I'm going to be shooting a proof of concept for a feature script I wrote called The Write-In.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you're busy then. You're a busy guy.
Yes, which is good.
Just to finish the point of the because
Hmm.
that kind of world is that you don't see that like I think everybody kind of goes through at least once in a lifetime, but you don't really see it. And there hasn't been a good story made about it, right? Like that kind of world that you live in right now, right? So
Hmm.
yeah, and you know what I mean? Like it's just because it's all kind of like this capitalistic kind of powerhouse, right? So
Oh
because
yeah,
yeah, and insurance
and
companies wins no matter what.
90% of the time they do. Uh,
Yeah.
but very rarely have I seen, the people on the other side win, except if it comes to injuries and stuff like that.
I was going to say that, but then sometimes the lawyers get involved. But I think
Right.
only life insurance is when they lose, but then you're dead.
You don't care. Yeah,
So,
and on top of that, like you said, being busy, I just got my bachelor's degree in writing for film and television. I graduated in February, so I was
congratulations.
doing that as well for the last 3 years. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So where are we? What, what year are we in this film?
And I'd say it's modern time. It's now. I would say about 2000, 2001.
Okay. So we're like 20 years because there's some flashbacks to the past, I guess, with the film, right? Not that like kids like he's obviously got the
A little
lights.
bit. The mom is kind of dressed like the old 50s, 60s
She's
mom.
got
She
the wooden
has
spoon. The wooden
she's
spoon
got
is
the
like
wooden
yeah,
spoon.
yeah,
Yeah, and so she kind of like a throwback to that. Um, to
yeah,
that back where back then cussing was a major sin and you were going to burn in hell for it. Where
yeah,
nowadays. So
yeah.
yeah, she was like kind of a throwback to that. And then
In
the
the
kids were
housewife as
more.
well. You don't really see
Yes,
conventional housewives anymore, I guess, right?
correct. And that she was wearing that the apron with the
Yeah,
little cats and stuff on it.
yeah.
There's this cute little stories that apron's in almost every film that we've done. We've integrated that apron in there one way or another.
Oh, so that's sort
Right.
of like your Hitchcockian kind of like
You can kind of say that, yeah, a
yeah,
little Hitchcockian throwback there, but
yeah,
um, yeah.
yeah. Because the wooden spoon is like I don't I she can get arrested. I guess depends what state you live in, right? But
Oh, and I've had one reviewer say this is a whole movie. This little short is nothing but a step by step on how to do child abuse, and I'm like,
yeah,
what?
we
I said,
don't
no,
see it.
it's funny.
She's
Yeah,
threatening, right? She's threatening.
yeah.
The comedy goes away when she actually hits the kid, right? So
Well, yeah, and then again, those are that's a sound effect I found somewhere online and
yeah.
kind of tweaked it a little bit, but and then she comes back downstairs, and I think the cutest line is the very last line that Tyler throws in there when she comes back. Now, what do you want for breakfast? And his little line he does. So,
So I
so
like
that
the
is
ending
cool.
credits where it's like the innocence of the I like the kind of like the swing kind of moving a little bit and kind of leaving the
Yeah.
credits to that. It's a good homage to like the theme of your film.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I think some festivals are afraid. because of the ending credit song, which I love, and I was actually surprised to get the okay from the guy who wrote that and performed that song.
Yeah.
Uh, but no, it was written and done for cuteness, and it kind of throws a lot of people, like you said, back to their childhood when they wanted to try out their first curse words or first bad thing to do.
Yeah. Is cuss words really a bad thing though? Like that's the subjective argument, right?
Well, you're right, and I'm definitely in. I think the seven, deadly words or sin words. I remember back when David Letterman. I watched that broadcast when he named those seven words on his broadcast for the very
It's more
last
like a
time.
George Carlin thing, like a George Carlin stand up,
Oh,
right?
oh, George, yeah, George Carlin had
Yeah.
a really nice stand up about it. But when that law came into effect, David Letterman was the last person to say those words live or on TV.
Yeah. It makes no sense, right? What is it?
Well, no, I mean,
Uh, what are the seven
what
words? Cock,
uh, uh fuck,
shit, fuck,
shit. I can't even remember all the really well. Now there's
fucker.
even more than that. Yeah, fucker. Uh, shit. I think like dang or damn was one of them.
Yeah. Was it damn?
Or damn it, maybe. And anything that if you said like goddamn or those, that was amazing. I remember my grandmother would slap us kids if we.
All right, I'm gonna say the words.
Okay,
Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits.
okay, those are the words he said.
Yeah. Shit, piss, fuck, cock, cunt. Sorry. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits.
Okay, that's hilarious. See, and those are hell. My kids were saying those words at 8 years old. Okay,
Yeah.
so and it's just
Does tits really need to belong with the other ones? I don't know.
no.
Cocksucker? I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a real strong believer. I think you can say the words don't hurt. Fist and weapons they hurt, but words they're
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then those are the seven words. So basically
Yeah,
that's what the film's about. And that's why but then
yeah,
you made it like so quick. You didn't make it like 10-minute film. You learned that this is a 4-minute film. You
right.
get in, you get out, right?
Exactly. It's like a comedian on stage. They say their story and they get to the punchline and then they move on.
Gotcha.
That was my thinking when I laid this out for filming and stuff like that. I said, I want to, you build it up, you get to you build it up, you get the tension in there to draw the everyone's attention into it. Boom, turn around at the end, you hit that punchline, which I thought my son, he was really young at that age. I thought he did a great job of hitting that last line and then boom, cut to black.
So your kids are still acting now?
Yeah, yeah. They're actually gonna be acting in this the project that I'm doing, the proof of concept
The
and
concept,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite part of the process? Do you like editing the film yourself and like kind of like putting it together?
I like principal photography. I like being right there on the set, in the middle of the action. I I'm a vet from the army and I've been in two conflicts and principal photography is almost like a combat situation. You're there in the thick of it, making sure you're getting everything done the way it should. And I always take on the role of a producer and on smaller projects like this, directing it as well. So, it's just man, it's busy, it's going, it's rolling. And that's what I like about it.
There's always a chain of command too, right?
True. Right. And the director's, right there at the top of it and everything goes down. And as long as everyone knows what they're doing, man, it works like clockwork. But if one thing goes wrong, it can throw a wrench into, your whole day of filming.
Yeah. Or a lot of times their blessing in disguises. I've learned on film sets that
Yeah.
when something's wrong goes wrong,
True.
right?
Very true. Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Yeah. Because then it forces you to think on the spot, and then you're not. Because sometimes it's good to be organized, of course, and prepared. But sometimes when you're prepared, it's like it's good to have that wrench, and then kind of throws off the preparedness, and then you could start thinking on your toes, and that's when good creativity happens.
exactly, and that's just the key point. You've got to be able to think on your toes. If you're going to do a film production, like, think on your toes. Um, Always have a different route to go if something goes wrong. I always try to have a plan B and C um, if plan A is not working. So, and
Yeah.
that's just a matter of but proper preparation prevents poor performance. That's something you kind of learned in the army, in the military, and stuff. So, I always put that mindset into it.
So you're how long were you in the army for?
I was in the army for 8 years. Yeah, 8 years.
And you got out? You like
Yeah.
you just wanted to move on?
Oh yeah, it was time to move on. I got out right after my daughter was born back in 96, 97.
Okay. So you were in the you were in the Iraq
Oh,
war conflict?
I was in Operation Just Cause when we invaded Panama. I was with the 82nd Airborne Division, so I was a paratrooper. And
Oh
then I
wow,
was in Desert Storm slash Shield.
gotcha. So you jumped out of airplanes.
I jumped out of airplanes. I carried around what's called a Dragon, which is a wire anti-tank missile that's wire guided.
Mhm.
I don't know how old you are if you remember back then, but CNN, that's when CNN started getting really big.
I remember. Yeah, I was a teenager when it happened. Yeah.
They had this opening on their show. It showed this guy that he had this thing on his shoulder, and it looked like a cone that pops off the back of it, and a missile shoots out of it. That's me. I was doing a demonstration for General CNN and the rest of the media on how a Dragon worked, and we were shooting at a disabled tank.
Wasn't it like called like Scud missiles? Were they Scud missiles back in the day?
No, Scud missiles. No, this one was called the Dragon, but the Scud missile was launched off the back of Deuce and a Half,
Okay,
and
gotcha.
those are actually the Scud missiles were. You might be thinking like the Patriot missile. You're talking for the anti missile
Yeah, like
missiles.
they weren't
Yeah,
like they weren't
yeah,
perfect. They weren't perfect. Like they didn't have
yeah,
perfect aim. I guess that was like what they're known for.
right.
Yeah,
But this one was it mounted on your shoulder, and you fired it, and it let off this big old thing of smoke, but you had to stay on it, and you had to stay on it
yeah,
till it hit its target because you were moving, staying on your target, and these missiles, which was connected by wire, and it
yeah.
would only go over 1,000 meter worth of wire, and then it would go and then hit its target, but you had to stay on it, so you basically had this big neon sign saying, "Hey, I'm over here." Every time you fired that thing.
And you would carry that while you jumped out of an airplane?
I would carry that, and I was not a big person back then. That thing probably went from my the ground to my chin, and it's strapped around my side. So I had my chute, I had my backpack strapped around my legs, and I had my reserve chute in front of me and my parachute on my back. I probably weighed twice as much jumping out of the airplane than I normally weighed.
How does one get that job that you just described?
I How I got that job, I went to sign up and I wanted to be an MP. And they said those were locked up for a year. So I'll go, okay, I'll see you in a year. And I go to walk out and they go, wait, come back. It says, we'll give you the 82nd Airborne Division. We'll give you $10,000 signing bonus. And I go, how much signing bonus? And they go, $10,000. Okay, sign me up. Well, when you go through basic and all that stuff, jump school. When I got to my unit, you're asked who wants to do a specialty, and I was like, I'll do a specialty, and they go, okay, you're going to dragon school, and they sent me off to dragon school to learn how to fire that missile for 2 weeks.
So do they give everybody a bonus like that, or just the special people like yourself?
I guess I know in my unit there's only one other person that got a bonus like that when I was there because this is back in 1989.
Yeah. So then the war, they haven't gone to war in a long time in the United States,
Oh,
right?
it was so peacetime, and I was
Yeah.
just thinking this is going to be an easy.
There was the Cold War, but nothing happened, I guess, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
that
it's
was just ending, I guess, in '89. That was just like wrapping up, right?
Yeah, pretty much so. The Cold War was.
And then the United States had to get into the Middle East, and yeah, that just I guess that was the last time they were there. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
kidding. Yeah.
I was almost one of those that signed up again after uh 9/11,
Yeah.
but my wife talked me out of it. I think she was more like over my dead body you're going over there.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
like I guess they were just yeah, it was more about like the terrorist organization, but then it became something else afterwards, right? So
Right.
so your wife was smart.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's put it that way. So that's really cool. So let me ask you a question because we get a lot of military veterans who I've talked to on the podcast who make films. Why do you think
Mhm.
that's why do you think there's so many people who are veterans of the military like yourself who start making films afterwards?
You've got stories you can tell. Like this movie I told you I'm getting ready to do the proof of concept called The Write-In. It's about a high school government teacher who's an an ex veteran who's gets thrust into becoming a writing candidate for president of the United States because he made a rant about the Supreme Court that went viral. So it's but you can draw on so many elements. You can military people they might go off to war, they might get deployed overseas and stuff like that, but they still have a family. There's so many good stories and stuff like that. They go overseas, they might fall in love with someone and stay over there, and stay with them or bring them back. Like a lot happened like over in Vietnam and stuff like that. A lot of soldiers fell in love. There's some really good stories, and it's just good stories can come out of it. And the one thing you learn, I guess, in the military is one, you learn how to write out reports because you got to pretty much do a report for almost anything that happens. So you get good practice in writing
Yeah.
while you're in the military.
I
So,
never thought of it like that. Yeah, I guess you do.
mhm.
So you have to like, but it's very matter of fact that the writing style, right? Like it's like you can't editorialize what happened. It has to be very cut and dry, I guess, right?
Right. Yeah. On this date, I observed da da da. Right.
Yeah,
But I mean, it only takes reading a couple of books. I mean, you learn about the hero's journey, and boom, you got so many ideas you can throw in that. Man, I know something that happened just like the whole hero's journey
yeah.
works. Do I have a story for that? And I do. I've got 9 scripts that I have written out and everything like that. That I'm when I get discovered by a major studio, they'll be going out there.
Because I'm like doing the math because you kind of told me
Hmm.
what your podcast before the podcast how old you were. We're joking about age something, and so
Hmm.
you're young when you were doing that. Let's put it that way, right? You're young, and
Yes.
and like this is kind of amazing. Like it's probably just 2 years before you're in high school or whatever, and now you're jumping out of airplanes at the army. Like that's a pretty huge arc as a character. Like
Yeah,
going
and there may be reasons why, because I could not afford because back getting into college and you try to get loans and stuff like that, they used your parents' income, and so I couldn't get loans, so I had to join the army to
that's
get
what so
benefits
many
for
people.
going to
Yeah,
school.
that's the American way. It's like that's the conspiracy theory that nobody talks about. Is like
Yeah,
free free healthcare and free education, right? So join the military for a bit, right?
yeah, sure.
Generally, what do they have to say? They say you have to do 10 years though. Don't usually have to do 10 years.
No, actually, you only have to do 2 years of active duty to get your
Active.
schooling benefits. Because I I did 2 years of active duty, and right after Desert Storm, we got the early outs. But I had to finish mine as a in the reserves at the Army Reserves,
Yeah,
and then I was an MP for that
yeah.
military police.
So nobody's really like wealthy joining the military. Basically, that's the gist of it, right? Like it's like if you don't have money, you join the military because then you get like as I said, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He, one another quick. I don't remember what this guy's name was. But we were getting ready to go over to Panama, and he uh, he only joined for 2 years to because he was going to be doing a role in a movie, and he had to learn it. So he actually enlisted for 2 years, and he was freaked out because he's like, I don't want to go to war. So
So he was preparing for a role in the movie for
he
two
was
years.
preparing for a role in a movie. I guess they had it planned out that he was going to start filming when he got out in
And
two
did they
years.
keep tabs with him?
Yeah, yeah. And they actually kept them protecting and stuff when we were overseas both times.
Oh, gotcha.
Hmm.
That's interesting. Okay, so
Yeah.
you joined the you finished the military, and then you
Hmm.
got a job. It seems like you got a pretty nice job. When was your first film? What year was your first film?
Um, the first film that I made was I think it was 2002. It was called Return to Innocence, and I was actually the producer on it, and I played like a bailiff and stuff on it. And back then, I was also doing like background work and for I was in the the Majestic and the Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
I remember
Um,
those movies. Yeah,
yeah, I'm the if you remember, I was the one that Jason Alexander sat on my back for like 8 hours. The water tower scene where he falls off the water tower and lands on a group of French students. Well, I was a French student that he was sitting on their back for 8 hours while his laptop hit him on the head and rolled down and like hit me. So
oh, gotcha. And then,
the
then when did you make? What was the first movie?
the first movie was Return to Innocence would be the first movie, and that was based on a book that an attorney wrote out of North Carolina. That was about a youth director that was falsely accused of molesting a young boy, and once you're accused of such a heinous crime, there's no return to innocence. Even though towards the end of the trial, the kid confessed that he made it all up, but the jury had already found him that was going to find him guilty when they polled the jury after he confessed to making it up. So that was the first one. Then we also the next movie we did was called Hallow, which was a uh, homage to the old slasher horror films. Actually, Universal actually picked that one up and to distribute it through their Universal movie and video distribution company. You might still find that out on DVD. The next one we did was called uh, Amherst, which is another little scary thriller movie. Um,
So you've been on a roll then, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. That was all during the early and mid 2000s, and then in 2009, well, actually 2008, I was a part of that big. Back then we had the recession, and I got laid off, so I had to move from California to Texas, and I took a break between 2009 and I would say probably 2017 is when my middle son Austin came to me and said he wanted to do acting, and I'm like,
Okay.
cool. So we found him, got him training and stuff like that, and he actually got representation, and that got me interested into starting to make films again and
Oh
stuff.
wow. So
So
he helped you out then.
yeah, he helped me get back into it, and that's
And now you're
when
doing the proof of concept. You're doing other things
yes,
underway. You want to make a feature, I'm assuming.
yes, I do.
Yeah.
I that's it. Definitely. I have a few features. I've even done a reimagining of Stand by Me, where the Chris character is going to be is a girl, and it's based in 1979. So that's
So it's like his daughter or something, or will be his daughter.
no, it's the same story. It's just it's a reimagining to where instead of it being all boys, because when I was growing up, I grew up in the 70s, and we
Yeah.
had we had a group of boys, but we always had this one Tom girl that hung out with us too, and that's where I kind of got the idea of doing the Stand by Me because we did similar things back. You
Yeah.
go out and uh
See a dead body. Yeah.
yeah. But ours were dead animals. It wasn't an
Yeah.
actual human.
Stuck on the train and yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so that that's an idea I have. I actually written that script and stuff like that, and there's a few people that are interested in it. It's just that one's going to be a hard one to try to get the rights to do.
That's
Um,
really cool. Well,
yeah,
man, I really like this film a lot. I think it's great, and it seems like you got a
it
great
is.
story to tell. Like lots of great stories to tell. Even your
Mm-hmm.
Earth story, that's a great film right there, right?
I
Like
know. True.
jumping off a plane, like 19, 20-year-old kid. You know what I mean? That's pretty amazing. Have this like
Yeah.
superpower, like military equipment on your back. It's like that can kill people. Like what the hell, right? So
Oh, it can blow up a tank and a helicopter. I know
that's
that
what I'm saying.
personally.
And then
Yeah.
you're like so young and you're just jumping out of a plane. What happens if you die? You know what I mean? Like, I mean like not that you die, but I'm saying what happens to the weapon if you don't survive? Someone's going to pick that up. You know what I mean? And it's just interesting. Anyways,
Oh, sure.
my mind just got kind of expanded there.
I
So
know.
it's great. You got a great story to tell. So I'd love to talk to you again. Let me send
Oh,
me
definitely.
the proof of concept when it's done, and I'd love
Mhm.
to talk to you again about your films.
Great. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for
Okay,
having me.
let's talk again.
Mhm. Bye.